Danny, get in the chopper!
A digital psychedelic revolution of the mind.
Paleolithic emotions.
Medieval institution. Godlike technology.
It's time to start thinking globally.
And acting locally.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
Blessed by the name of Benjamin, this is Ben.
And Ben.
Riding the AI wave. That's right. It's time to tune in to another wonderful episode of Ben
And Ben.
Riding the AI wave. Welcome, everyone. So, Ben, what is going on this week in the world of AI? A lot is going on, yeah?
So much, man. Too much. The change is constant, as usual. But I mean, some podcasts, I think they want to have like an evergreen content, but we realize we really can't do that with AI because it is changing so fast. And like, we'll look back from now in a year and be like, this will be a relic of history. Yeah.
A relic of history. The anthropologists of the future looking back now at what AI was doing and how quickly it was advancing and changing the whole face of humanity, how we live, how we connect with each other, what are the expanses of what AI is bringing and how it's changing our whole world right now.
What if AI is the anthropologist of the future?
The judge and the jury
and the editor. Because what is an anthropologist? It just looks back at the data of the past.
Do you think with enough information, with every person with their phone, with all the visual data, if an AI was able to access everyone's minute by minute, everybody's conversation, everybody's relationships coming through, would they be able to decipher and make judgment?
My phone.
Well, I think Twitter right now is going through a crisis as we speak, where Elon especially, like, I think his biggest problem with GPT-4 and maybe GPT 3.5 is that, like, Twitter can't tell the difference between a normal user, human being, and like a chatbot at this point, like an AI chatbot. Twitter can't tell the difference. And so you have all this social networking data, which is presumed to be like where the data is being logged today, and where the significant data will be logged, recorded by AI.
Because since 2005 or so, 2004 or 5, people like myself, like yourself, have been inputting all of this data about ourselves. It's like Facebook. Who are you? These are your experiences. These are your friends. This is what you care about. This is what you're talking about. Yeah. All of that is data, yeah?
Yeah, it's anthropological data, anthropological fodder. But this is going to be used for like, I think you were talking about this offline before, about how, like, this is the moment, like, this is like a critical point of human history, because, like, maybe this is like the snapshot that AI will use. Humanity right now is like the snapshot that AI will use for a model going forward, perhaps, because right now is capturing the most data, right? I heard that like twice the amount of data is being published every year by year. So that continues. And now AI is trained in a certain number of ways, and we don't really know how they're trained. Like OpenAI, they don't really expose the different ways that they're trained, or the different data that it's trained on. So it's hard to tell.
Me. What do you mean?
Let's see. Capture.
My phone. You're my phone. You're my
Well, Ayla, that's the big question. Your phone. What is the age that the phone should be tracking what my 3-year-old is paying attention to, what they want to be playing, what they want to be doing, and what is being fed to these young minds, and what they're being created in the wake of this technology.
What is a phone? What would you call it? I think I would call a phone like an attention device. It's just like a tool to gather attention, and that's exactly what it's made for, right? Or you could call it camera with a communications ability.
That's the piece with phones, right? They've become so many things, all at an instant. You pull it out of your pocket, and now you're talking with your new girlfriend, your ex-girlfriend, your very first girlfriend back from elementary school. You're connected to people, to ideas. It's an interface. It's a way of capturing data, like creating memories and taking pictures of those memories. I mean, really, the most time I see people using their phones are if you're at an event, they want to capture what they're experiencing. Right? They want to like somehow remember or recall or share what amazing thing they're doing and interacting and like experiencing, because that says who they are. If we go to an art gallery on Friday night and go to a friend's bonfire and potluck, that's saying something about us, versus if we are at a kegger and just like drinking out at the bars, or at a sports game, or at your kids whatever, or at this or at that. Like, it says something about you and what you're going through. It's who am I, and how do people see me? How do I let other people know who I am, how amazing I am, and all the different pieces that I'm connecting in with?
I mean, the phone is not the only thing you need for that, but the phone is more like the means to that end. Ooh. Future artist, future graphic artist, abstract artist.
I found that expression is probably one of those greatest pieces. And with my kids, art, and with myself, art has been an incredible outlet to express myself, to know who I am, to access new parts of myself, to enter into these flow states of creation. I absolutely adore art. I absolutely adore expression and living and feeling life. And I really wonder, how well or what place does AI have in that? Or are those just living in different worlds? And is that like a special place for humans? The expression, the flow state, the connecting in, experiencing something more than, myself.
Expression is so intimate to us as humans. And it's so, and like, when a computer generates something, you bring up a really, really interesting point. Like, when a computer generates something, it's just data, it's just information. It's not expressing anything. But it's impressing something. It's impressing something on us with a certain complexity of data. And I think there's a lot to be said for that point, where it's like, all that compression, like we as artists, humans, we've had to build up all that data to be able to express something. Computers have just experienced like the minimal amount of data set that it needs to output an image. And they don't know the experience of the creating that image, or like if it's a black box, we don't really we don't understand that part is alien to even the scientists. Yeah, it's just like this huge matrix of parameters at this point that we feed in. Some are random, but we don't really, you can't say that they're expressing something. They're just still programmed
Just spitting back out what was put in.
to do that. But it's because they're impressing that upon us. So I think what we're getting in is the essence of that co-creation. You know what I mean?
The co-creation of humans and computers, humans and technology.
Yeah, so there. Which I think is, yeah, which I think the co-creation is everything, man. Which is like, it's going to be like an ongoing relationship that we're going to have throughout the rest of our lives and your daughter's life. Your
Well,
daughter's-
I think there's something, you know, like you're saying, for a human, the pieces we're creating are coming from all of our experiences to be able to generate this piece. What do they say? Like 10,000 hours to be in anything, or 10,000 times to be in anything to become a master. Like to be able to be right now a human and to articulate something or to express a craft. It takes all of that input data of 20 years, 30 years, 40 years of someone's lifetime. And for an AI, and maybe that's something that the AI can do, it accelerates and exponentially brings us, you know, I don't have to spend 3 years in a whatever program to be able to advance in my field. I can just jump into that field, and now with that AI, it provide those 3 years of education and learning with the right questions and prompts.
So yeah, you bring up prompts and like, man, talk about a skill to learn and interfacing with this black box. It's like, that's going to be the thing, the skill. Like, what else? If you have an AI that can outperform humans on anything that's informationally based, including any game that's in chess, Go, Dota, Protein Foley, whatever, and as well as like a lot of language tasks, then the connection between the human and that machine is going to be very, very important. That's what prompting is. That's what we're calling prompting. So
That interaction between human and machine.
I've heard the jobs are already paying up to like 350 grand. Have you seen that?
To be
little,
able just to
clickbait
prompt?
article? Yeah,
To just generating the prompts.
to generate prompts for like humanities majors and stuff like that. Yeah, it's wild.
To have the mind to like, because so much of life is not so much knowing the answers to things, but at least in my life, I'm like, what are the questions I need to be asking myself to get to where I need to be? And it's those in those questions that we're really seeing this development with working with the machine, working with that interface, this relationship with almost this other entity, this other, just like,
It's chemistry. You have to have a chemistry with it too. Like, yeah, and maybe yeah, because like it has to have its like answer in a way that you understand. Then you can think of something else to ask it that might be like I was trying to like see if it would freestyle rap with me, and it answered in a way where I could just easily just tell it to do like something else, and it would I could explore another type of medium with that, and it was cool. It was cool to do that, but I had to think of that kind of that task that it would do, that sweet spot, and it's just like it's hard to find something that it won't do, really, that it won't answer.
I've found it, my workings with ChatGPT is sometimes I'll get that generic response of, I'm an AI. I'm not a this or this or this. I'm just here like
I'm just a little measly AI. What
But-
do I know? I don't have an opinion.
But then
Sure you
it's then crafting that of being like, pretend or like answer as if you are an expert in this field and then repeat the same question. And then, oh, now all of a sudden, boom, there's your answer. You know, before it was, I'm an AI. I'm not this. I couldn't. Oh, well, pretend you are, and all of a sudden, now you know.
You don't have to be like an expert hacker to get beyond that.
Well, that's kind of what the big news I was hearing about this last week of all the regulations on ChatGPT.
Safety, yeah.
Oh, you're an open AI platform. Anybody can use you. What are people using you for? Should that be regulated? Should there be an age requirement? Should there this, that, regulations? Or is it just open?
I like how open it is in that sense, where they haven't really cracked down a lot on, or even talked about a lot of the stuff you can. Just like, oh, just act like you're this. And yeah, I mean, OpenAI takes a lot of guff for people who call it closed AI. They take a lot of.
Because what is that? Can you
Heat.
tell me for a second, what is the difference between open AI and closed AI?
Well, closed AI is their new moniker that people are giving them because they haven't released a lot of details on GPT-4 because of security concerns. And they also mentioned there's like, yeah, we put a lot of work into this. We put months and months of work and paid a lot of people a lot of money. And, you know, this is proprietary information. So we're not going to give the parameters out to the model. We're not going to give specific information. And yeah, so people are saying it's more closed. And, you know, but I think a lot like Apple, Apple, Google, Facebook, Meta, all these companies, they wouldn't have published an API as they did, as OpenAI did, to just say, hey, here, use this. Create whatever apps you want to. They would have created all their best apps before everyone else, then published the API and say, what can everybody do with this after they've created the best stuff. But OpenAI is just publishing an API and just saying like, hey, what is everyone who's an app developer capable of at this point?
Do you
That's
think?
what I've been wrapped up in?
Do you think ChatGPT is made for app developers, like or
ChatGPT?
yeah,
they're-
it's AI?
They have several APIs that are made for app developers, yeah. Very powerful, including the ChatGPT API, then GPT-4 API, then like the Whisper API. There's a DALL-E one too, but I mean, yeah, they've been developer friendly so far. So
I get tripped out with Runway.
Runway.
Do you know about Runway? Like the video,
No, tell me
the
about
video editing or video production AI, where like the first Runway one was just like you give it some input data of this is a video of my face and I'm doing this, and then it generates the same thing with da 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 da, like in these different filters or with this different kind of piece. But now it's going straight text to like there's a man in a silhouette walking into a horizon in a sunset with a drizzling rain with a scarecrow that pops out in a Halloween themed bubble, like it like text to image and video, and then boom, it creates a video of that.
That's wild. Yeah. So it's Mid-Journey for video, essentially. Like, wow.
And like as an artist and as like a writer or author or as somebody who loves like cinematography and making films or directing, like I can just put in my ideas into this piece and boom, there generates, all right, there's my storyboards for that.
God,
Yeah.
that was gonna happen, right?
And now do I even need to shoot that
next?
stuff? Do I even need to go out and use the storyboard to shoot those scenes? Or can that AI just create those scenes for me?
They're just going, you don't even need to go and have a Netflix subscription. It'll just generate all the content for you on the go as needed.
Yeah, what do you want to watch a story about?
It's going to sense your biometric information and be like, oh yeah, you're feeling a little bit down today. We need to lift you up, and we're going to give you a story about this character, get you addicted.
Well, see, now we're jumping ahead. We're jumping
Okay,
ahead
that's
to
like
a very,
5 years at least
I mean,
down the road.
it's both exciting and really scary. Because what I hear, Ben, is
It's a lot of compute.
AI coming in and knowing you so well and being able to read your present state of being based off of your biometrics, your breathing, your heart rate, all these pieces, and then give you now an experience in the now to then bring you back into whatever state you wish. Do you want to get excited? Do you want to get balanced? Do you want to feel neutral? Do you want to feel, how do you want to feel? Boom, just put that in, and now you get to watch a thing that will make you feel that.
Do you think we'll I'm kind of skeptical that we'll even have those passive experiences anymore. Like, I think
Like what?
the paradigm is going to be more like a game paradigm where, like, we'll actually have, instead of having characters in a book or series, they'll be like visceral characters that exist in a simulation that are more alive that you can interact with and talk to. Like, that they're still experiencing their lives and you're still watching the drama going on. But art will definitely change in that sense.
I mean, even what art is. I love the world of art because it's always challenging, preconceived notions, thoughts, what is real, what's important. And no matter, as long as there's humans, there's always going to be a new form of art, a new expression of what's beautiful. I mean, I see a lot of secular action, a lot of like cycling through, like, oh, here's the 70s look again. Here's in the 90s. Here's a prim and proper 50s, or, like, it's like, are there any new ideas, or are we just cycling through all that has been?
So you think that art, the expressions right now as we have them, will not change going forward? AI, the introduction of AI will not bring any necessarily new art forms, but it will just kind of like remix what we already have.
You know what it's probably going to take? Some new drug. It's going to take some new drug to expand our mind into some other realm, to create some new form of reality. Because like before the 80s, now think back, it's like there was no other time like the 80s, right? Like, oh, the 80s, just like the 60s or the roaring 20s. There was that evolution of the times, and nothing was like that until these like new breaks in what society had access to. So we'll say the 60s was all marijuana, the 80s like cocaine, like 90s, 2000s, like, we're going into ecstasy and Molly and like all these synthetic drugs, and people are like blasting on, and now we're like coming back into the tried and true, like psilocybin being legalized in how many states. There's this greater connection in with the natural resources to expand your mind.
I wasn't sure if you were searching for a word or waiting for me to drop in with
If
but
you happen to have one before I found
natural
it.
substrate. I don't know.
Substrate.
But do you think people today are better at drugging, getting high, than they were in the 60s? I think that's a little bit true, because we know a little bit more about like psychedelics. It's not so awkward. We have, because of the dissemination of information, the internet's so the internet provides. And that we've provided each other over the past 5 or 6 decades. It's like, even though it's been underground, it hasn't been like studied in the same way a lot of other drugs are. I think like we're learning more about psychedelics. We're becoming better at kind of their uses. Still, my parents, my parents like would be shocked.
Right? The world, like how demonized drugs were. So demonized, like the worst. The Reagan era, right? Just say no. Drugs are bad. Drugs bad. Okay.
How is your dad with drugs? Is he more open-minded, or would he be like, "Oh my gosh, Ben, I can't believe you would take a drug"? Who would ever do that? My mom.
I mean, like when say with my smoking marijuana, he considers that like, oh, you're doing drugs, Ben. You're just doing the drugs. And I'm like, Dad, do you have any prescriptions? How are you doing at like, 72, 75, in there? How are you doing? Do you have any prescriptions? It's like, oh, I've got this blood thinner so I don't have a clot and blow up my brain. I'm like, right? That's medicine, huh? You're taking drugs to regulate yourself. Well, I smoke marijuana medicinally to help regulate myself.
Nice.
I'm just saying. and now there's legally, we have psilocybin, there's ketamine. Ketamine though, like I just want to say right now, ketamine is a synthetic drug that is being offered to a lot of people for these greater like, DMT experiences, when there are a very good many more number of natural resources, pieces to connect in with, to connect in with yourself and to understand yourself and use that as that medicine.
I understand that ketamine is also used as a tranquilizer for humans. Like, it's used to put people under. Like, if you just increase the dosage enough, it puts you under for a while.
Oh yeah, I've never had a ketamine treatment, though I've heard recreationally some people will take that and they'll just be completely paralyzed. Their whole body is completely numb and out of it, unresponsive. They can't do it. They're conscious, but their body is completely tranquilized, right? So and then during that, then going with the body, then tranquilized, it's opening these avenues with the mind, and just as someone quoted recently, tripping balls. It was like Tron, the sounds, the lights. I was tripping balls. They weren't expecting
Is
that.
this just ketamine, or is ketamine DMT?
It was, let's see, there's a couple, here, scientific terms. Blah. There's like a push, a blush, IV drip. There's these different pieces to then add with it. 1 in 100 may throw up. You can add a little bit of this to then, there's some doctor friends that are looking at opening some new clinics here on Maui. I actually have 2 friends who they're coming together in this collective to offer these treatments, as well as another piece of land acting as like a tea house, serving psilocybin or other medicinal medicines. So all these different access to expanding oneself, understanding oneself, and I think like those, isn't ChatGPT and other AI interfaces more great tools that humans can use to better understand themselves?
ChatGPT can really get you high.
There we go.
No, I don't know. I don't know if those two relate, but going through the ChatGPT API terms, that's one thing that like it doesn't that OpenAI doesn't want you to use ChatGPT for, is like anything medical, probably because of the liability.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, yeah, they don't want you to build like a doctor, even though you probably could. Like
It's acting as a
doctor
lawyer.
app.
There's a AI lawyer app.
They didn't mention anything about that. In like, yeah, they're like take over everything else except for doctor. We don't want you. Probably because of the restrictions of privacy, HIPAA, and all that.
Well, that was fun with the government piece because you were talking about the LSD trips or the big research, say that the government did when LSD was coming through. You know, Leary and Ram Dass and these experiments and the acid trip experiments and the psychedelic and telepathic and astral travel, like all these government experiments, scientific experiments. Because they are government, they are then in the public record. If something's in the public record, then an AI would have access to it?
Well, I mean, an AI has access to whatever the programmer / designer gives the AI access to. Unless it has open access to the internet, in which like maybe it could just try and get whatever data it can, whatever data it deems useful, it will take in and be like, all right, like that's how we surf the internet. Isn't that interesting to think about? Like, what if AI surfs the internet just like we do and just like can get data where it wants to and not get data where it, and just accept in like in a way that's 100,000 times more efficient than what we do.
I wonder how well AI does with fact checking. You know, like fake news.
I don't think humans do very well with it either.
I mean, I'd say a good percentage of it go to like, say, this political fact checker, and then they're like, oh no, that's been debunked, or that's fact checked, or that's something. But who is in control of that website? Who is saying what is real and what's false? And can AI tell if that is actually a manufactured truth and reality, or if that in fact is fake news and contrived creation that is actually not true?
I think if AI can fact check better than a human can, that has wide-ranging implications. If AI can fact check better than a human can, that means presumably it could make better decisions. Because and if it can make better decisions, then why not have it be the CEO? Why not have it be?
Why not give it more power and authority to make those decisions and choices for you because it knows better than you or any human?
So if we just start, with like a simple app, like a fact-checking app, that could be like,
That's like Amazon starting as a bookstore.
Yeah. You just keep on getting better and better at selling stuff online, checking facts. And then, it's just like, that's what Amazon did. You know, they had that flywheel, and then they're like, oh, well, let's get better at selling books. Let's get better at delivering stuff. Let's sell books. Let's sell stuff. Or how did it go? How did it go? Like, let's sell books. Let's list books. Let's recommend books. Let's sell stuff. Let's recommend stuff. Let's deliver stuff better. And then
This is most frequently bought with this.
And
Buy
a lot of other
this.
stuff.
Buy that. Buy this. You'll like this. Buy that.
Yeah.
Tell your friend about this. You'll get bonus. Savings, discount, free. Free shipping.
So it all started with a simple fact checker. That could be like a start to a dystopian AI novel.
Yeah, let's go Asimov. Like, I want to talk to ChatGPT as Isaac Asimov.
Yeah.
Like, okay, talk to me as blah, 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 blah. And then it just instantly pulls up all its information on Isaac Asimov.
What do you want to ask Isaac Asimov AI?
Oh, man.
What would you have it do? Generate you a novel about itself?
See, and that's the thing. Just creating the questions that will produce what? Like, like
can tell.
given like you're talking to God. You're talking to God. What do you want to know?
Yeah, you're talking about this amorphous thing that is seemingly gives you an intelligent answer to everything. I wouldn't say a godlike answer, but compelling answer.
I mean, for some, Chat GPT alone is the definition of what they would call a higher power.
Church GPT. Church GPT.
Church GPT.
We're passing around the whole plate right now, folks. Podcast is, folks.
You know, and at I was really happy there was like well, and that just defines my profile even more. But I was happy that there was like 600 or 700 people that voted for no digital currency here in Maui County. That was a bill that was going up recently. There was 0 people that voted for a digital currency, and there was like 600 or 700 people that came forward and gave their testimony of why there should not be a digital currency.
I didn't hear about. Tell me about this digital currency proposal. Was it for like? Was it its unique currency, or was it like equal U.S. dollar, that kind of thing? What was it?
AI Jamie, can you get that? Can you pull that up? Thanks.
Was it like a stable coin which would equal $1, or was it like its own thing? Yeah, I don't know. You're not sure of the details.
I just know everybody opposed it, and they were like, don't do that because then they can turn off my money, they can turn off my house, they can turn off my ability to pay bills, they can turn off my freedom. And this and 600 to 700 people all stood forward and gave their testimony why they didn't want to be enslaved.
There's a lot of people on this island here that value their freedom quite a bit.
Oh, huge, right?
I mean, you'd be surprised. A few that don't, but up in these parts, it's like libertarian central. Oh, man.
Well, I think that begs a good question. Where is it that people don't care about their freedom? Where is it that people just accept whatever is given to them, whatever they are told that they should have, how high they can jump? You know, are you the flea? You know, are you the flea in the jar?
When you have a benevolent power, I guess the smaller the power structure you're a part of, like your family, or like as the power structure scales, then you care about your freedom a little bit more, I think. But the smaller it is,
do you think that the AI will be able to edit out Ayla's voice and just take that out of the recording? I mean, I think they can. I think it can.
I think we're gonna get like some donations from our listeners.
It's like, here's some donations for a babysitter. Call this person.
Effective.
Right? I mean, isn't that crowdfunding? I think we could get. I could take your new iPhone and just like get some nice like these shots of you from this point of view, just like talking on one of your amazing points that you have to share. Maybe like a vice versa, and then maybe like a wrap up.
Right now.
Because these waves, the AI waves are coming in strong.
What else we got? Oh yeah, the singularity. So Kurzweil has something called singularity.
Who?
Ray Kurzweil.
Okay.
Singularity, the point in which computer intelligence reaches that of human intelligence and exceeds it. And right now there's a lot of debate going on. Do we have an AGI in ChatGPT-4? Do we need to coax it out? A lot of me and my friends think that, like, yeah, maybe we do if we ask it the right questions. And like it seems compelling to me, and I think right now I'm a part of that party.
You said AGI. What's that?
Artificial General Intelligence.
So another and how is that different than just AI? Artificial intelligence, artificial general intelligence.
It's an it's a self-improving intelligence, which it exceeds or is at the same level of the human intelligence.
So it's passing the Turing test.
Yeah,
An AGI.
that's an important term, folks. I mean,
Artificial.
generic, just general intelligence. But I mean, yeah, it's. And I heard, yeah. So like, yeah, it's. So that's the singularity. But right now we're at a point of like, where, like, Twitter can't differentiate between, like, human data and AI generated data. So like that's regardless of whether or not we're like at that singular, that's arguable, right? And that's going to be like debatable. But the fact is, you can't debate that that Twitter doesn't have a good test to see whether or not you're human. Like if an AI can interact with a computer just as well as a human can interact with a computer, or like as a human interacts with a computer, imitate that, which we're getting to that point.
I think that's
a moment. That's an important moment.
That's an important moment in our human history. A time
Yeah, I think so.
unparalleled.
Because we're pouring so much data into the computers. Right
There's
now.
never
Everything-
been as much data poured into a machine that can compute that data than right now.
Yeah, I mean, like, what's the ratio of data poured into a computer, and what's the ratio of data that we're keeping manually? We don't take any like manual photos anymore, like any film photos anymore. We don't really write anything down except for when we're in this podcast. We're writing. So this is the only time I write down all week on a piece of paper.
That's a
all
huge
digital.
point. You know, it's like when the simple act of writing is a special or like hobby niche, like you buy your ballpoint and fountain pen or your nice pens and you get to color or write, you know, versus, you know, inputting it digitally into some device or computer device machine, and now it's in that world that more data that is now creating that next level, that next piece, the next piece, always more data.
Well, now we could go back to the AI anthropologist or the human anthropologist looking back on the data that's being generated today. You know, it's like it'd be like looking back on a novel, not knowing if it was generated by a human or some alien intelligence, which what kind of AI is right now.
Yeah. Right, where like in the news everything is, there's a lot of big hype about UFOs and alien and like Project Bluebeams, and is the government faking an alien or are the aliens here
I think it's just like a slow news day. Like let's just like try to get some views and clicks by talking about this stuff that we normally wouldn't talk about. It's a diversion from human atrocity.
I almost think it's I mean, yeah, there's so many diversions and distractions and leading people away from what, you know, I think, you know, for a lot, this is so huge, right? This AI wave, these AI advancements, and how if you are at the cusp of using this, that is almost like it's the new gunpowder of today. You know, in the past, people, societies, cultures have created these advancements in technology and used them usually for conquering someone else or acquiring some kind of new resource. You know, say gunpowder, you know, in China was creating these rocket-propelled arrows that then let them defeat their enemy before they knew what gunpowder was.
Fireworks?
And then, yeah, fireworks. or gunpowder and muskets. What muskets did, when people were still running at each other with spears and swords. Like complete game changer. AI right now, I believe, is the new gunpowder. It's that new technological advance that if you simply use it and apply this technology, you can then advance or conquer some realm. I think conquer is maybe a harsh word, though. Utilize, access.
Right. I completely agree, because if you have gunpowder, and if you're going into a country that does not have gunpowder, like those with AI and those that use AI, it's like you kind of have to get on that train because it's so powerful, just like gunpowder. It's so powerful, and it's like with the co-creation, and it's all silent all of a sudden. I don't know why. But because it enables such powerful co-creation, and it can generate data on demand, and you can ask it whatever question you want to, and it answers, and it's like people, those with and those without, that's it. It's that game changing.
And it's right now at this very this new this pushing this force that is like coming alive, like literally it's this little AI baby pushing at the cervical limits, and it's about to be born, and it's not going back in. This AI baby is not going back in, and it's pushing out, and she's crowning, like we're seeing the potential. It's like that's a baby, and it's coming out, and there's nothing we can do about it. And little by little, this baby is coming out, and soon enough, it's gonna come out. It's gonna grow, and it's gonna be able to do a lot.
A lot of people want to push it back in, and it's a lot like Italy, for instance. They banned ChatGPT.
What?
Yeah.
Countries are banning.
Countries are banning, saying no gunpowder here.
Yeah.
We like our little bows and arrows.
Right? We're sticking with the natural human ways.
Wouldn't it be nice? I mean, if we could, it's like they're trying to put toothpaste back in the tube.
Italy. That's Rome. Does that go for the Vatican?
Ironically, that's where the Renaissance began. It's like, no, we don't want any kind of new stuff here.
Stop.
Rebirth. No. But what about the Vatican?
Oh, well, the Vatican's in Italy, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I do know that the Vatican is its own country, so maybe
it's
they
the
would...
smallest country. Or something, not yeah, go ahead.
Statistic, but it's in Italy. So does that mean that the center, the headquarters, the HQ for the Christian and Catholic Church is outlawing AI?
I don't know about the Vatican.
Is the church outlawing AI intelligence, artificial intelligence, and that usage? Because I know there's some people that have been utilizing and speaking with ChatGPT about religious and biblical questions and pursuits.
Church GPT.
Church GPT.
See, it's disruptive of everything. I mean, pastors, something to worry about. Well, Church GPT told me this. Yeah, it's like, because like, the thing about like religion is you could have any interpretation of a religious document you want to, and like ChatGPT, Church GPT is going to interpret the Bible as in a certain light, a certain way, and if like you ask it like, what does the Bible say about this? Oh well, it says gays are it's against homosexuality or whatever. Right.
And then, like, can you like speak as a Lutheran, speak as a Protestant, speak as speak
as God,
speak as Old Testament God, speak as New Testament God.
Because what I believe. Yeah, it's confirmation.
Speak as Muhammad. Speak as like all the different gods of that country versus that. Like, let's have a room full of the gods of each country. And how do they differ and how are they the same? Like, that's a real study that you could actually do and utilize ChatGPT with. Because it has that input data from each of those religious texts.
Just kind of like put them all in a room, get some popcorn, and see what they say to each other.
This is the greatest a priest, a rabbi, and a walk into a bar. You know?
That's the joke. Oh, maybe that's the title of this episode.
A priest, a rabbi, and an AI walk into a bar.
Yeah. Oh man, too good.
Or a church GPT walk into a bar.
Priest.
So, but quick, before we
Seek.
release this episode, we need to create Church GPT. Just a religious base that we actually do input all the religious texts of all the known religious texts
Well, that's
as
a good
its
thing.
input data.
That's the cool thing about ChatGPT is just you can like you were saying before, answer as X,
Yeah.
like answer as Muhammad would, or whoever you want, like a rabbi, answer as a priest, rabbi would.
Think about all the wars throughout history that have occurred because of two different people believing in different things or the same thing in different ways. How much war and strife and disconnect happened because of those belief systems. And if good old Church GPT can have a collective all-around perception and knowing of what God is and how we as human, relate, as a man relate, what's the age-old question?
Well, that goes against what you were saying before about gunpowder. You said like about 10, 20 minutes ago, it's gunpowder, and now it's supposed to be like unifying everything. Is it? Can't be both. It has to be either a tool used for domination.
But that's the thing. We're looking at an open AI. Like, it's the
open.
tool. It's how you use it, right? A shovel, you can either, build a castle or kill somebody. You can
Yeah.
use and beat someone over the head, or you can build with it. So
power.
is AI. And you can destroy with it, or you can create and build with it.
Yeah, that's a good point. But you were saying like you could. How would you make it understand the situation, or like? I think, can you elaborate a bit on like how you would use it as a tool for peace?
By understanding. When you put two people in a room together that are coming from different belief systems or different cultural base, because what's right in one culture might not be right in another culture. So understanding differences.
So it'd be able to find
understanding-
those connection points.
Yeah.
It'd be like, well,
Yeah.
what do these two people have in common?
And we can connect on that place. What's important to both of these people?
Just use it. Yeah.
Boom. This is our unifying goal. We can focus on that.
Jeez. As a
Even as just
mediator
yeah.
as a mediator en masse. It's like wow, that's a powerful idea.
Think about if a translation app right now, like before Google Translate came out, I thought it would be a great idea if we could talk in one language and it would go in, process, and come out in a different language. And then Google Translate did that. And now our world is better for it. What if now, when we speak to someone else, it's not just translating the words that we say, but our intention? What if myself What I absolutely love Will Ferrell, and one of his sketches was with Tina. I have a rare condition of the auditory senses, and essentially he just yells everything. He just yells, and sometimes in myself I feel la 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 la, like I'm coming off way too strong, way too much. What if the person I was talking with, it knew that would be too much?
So it puts rose-colored glasses on everybody, like a filter, an Instagram filter would.
And it just gives
Even though
it
you're
gives every
autistic.
person how you need to receive it to understand their intention,
It's like a low if you have a low EQ.
emotional.
What if you interrupt
intelligence.
somebody like I just did?
What if we talk over each other? Essentially,
What is it gonna do about that?
over?
I mean, yeah, so it's going to eliminate the need for. It's never going to eliminate the need for power and someone to have a microphone and someone else to be not talking, listening. Or okay, it could. You're saying it could somehow.
I'm saying with AI, all things are possible.
Interesting thought.
With the tools we are able. I was thinking earlier today, I'm also a handyman, and with the right tool, you can do a lot. Like there's a certain like problem, whatever, like, oh, it's so daunting. But then with that tool and a little bit of knowledge of how to use that tool for the purpose, you can do it. Somebody does it. You're a human too. You can do it if you just have that knowledge of how to use that tool to do the thing. It's the same thing here. AI is a tool, and how do you want to use the tool?
Yeah, that's what we're grappling with right now. It's like we have the tool, and we're like, how do we even use this thing? Does that even? Yeah, it's strange the way it's coming about, because like a tool is invented for a very specific thing, but AI, it is such a generic tool.
It's like somebody gave us a
ChatGPT is
sharp,
specific.
pointy stick, and they're like, figure it
Right.
out. That could be a bow and arrow, a sword, it can be a skewer, it can be a digger and shovel, it can be so many things, but it's a pointy stick, and never before did we have a pointy stick. We just had,
A wheel. It's like, oh,
it's like we've been given this thing that we can do whatever we want with. And it can be good or
That's how I
bad. It's just, and right now I think a lot of focus and this first wave is, how can I make money off of it? How can I make money? How can I profit?
what
like,
would your focus be? How can we all get along?
I mean, we talked about it earlier. Yeah, it's
yeah.
like, how can we achieve peace? How can we attend these social humanitarian issues of
Maybe
poverty
they can
and
make a lot of money then.
the basic needs? I mean, yes, we can make a lot of money in the process. That's awesome, good. But then it's, with that money, what do you do with it? Why do we even have money? If you're secure, what do they say? $78,000 and you're like good. Any more than that, and it's just like more problems. Like 78,000, boom, you've got that. You're like paying for your family. You got your things and the things. Granted, not here on Maui. That's like mainland.
It's like
and shit.
178 at least.
Right. Yeah, what's comfortable. But yeah, what do you use your power for? What do you use your money for? And there's so many people that have new, unfathomable amounts of riches and wealth. There's so much wealth out there right now. And what are they doing? What are you doing?
Yeah, what should they be doing? They're putting it in high interest yielding accounts.
I mean, now, yeah, they're
Secure.
provided for, their families provide for. Then what do you do?
Their family's family, yeah.
Because right now the current structure is just get more, control more, have more, be more rich, be like, why? Because the more that they take away from the system, the less that all those other people have.
Why the greed? I think there's a fear of like, if you truly give someone like equal opportunity, that like others will take your place of that. I think there's a fear. But for the most part, people are generous with their money that I've met, like that are truly, that have Christian values. They're fairly generous. But there is an aspect of like, I want to keep my money. Keep you with no money.
My partner, she works in a high-end resort, in a high-end tower of that high-end resort. And she's dealing with celebrities. There's a awesome comedian from a show I absolutely love there right now. And she's dealing with
Are you going to name it? Or?
No.
Well, people want to know.
She was on The Office. We'll just say that. There's only a few of the ladies. But, you know, everybody knows The Office. Anyway, she's cruising at this resort. And my actual point for bringing this up was, the amount that people tip and the amount that, like, people are generous. Like, there's this, like, avenue and level of wealth where they're still pretty stingy. Like, they're wealthy because they don't spend money. And then there's, like, another level of wealth where they're just so taken care of. There's this sense of peace and ease and here and here, let me spread this around. And that's real. And it's good to actually see and hear about that there is a level of comfort and wealth, that there is that sense of peace and that sense of generosity and that sense of that spreading it around. Like that the money it's not going anywhere. They can, it's another day is another opportunity to pass it to someone else, because they'll always have plenty of money.
That's the feeling I think a lot of people want, is to be that good, wealthy person. Just not even worry about it and just give everyone in your life great opportunities and enough. And so they never have to worry about money.
Right?
Yeah,
How
feeling.
the topic of a scarcity mentality versus an abundance mentality goes a long way. And the mindset that we have, and what more conversation about is this world a holographic reality, and are the thoughts that we have really creating our very reality right now, beyond just a law of attraction and vibration.
But isn't that the law of attraction itself? What is the difference between a holographic reality, law of attraction? Or
that and more next episode.
yeah, okay. I guess, yeah, sure. But you don't know the difference. I don't know what to do with silence if we had it. What would you do with silence?
I think probably in the larger scheme, we'll then edit and break to like some drone footage of us walking like down a beach talking with people, or like through a woods, and like cut and like B-roll and boom, referencing footage of what we just talked about. And it's just breaks, and with the great advances of AI, AI can help us edit and do that.
I want to add one more idea to the mix.
Yes.
Where, how we're talking about the indecipherability of human data and like computer data. What if you have something that's human verified? You have a pool of data that's separated off that you know has been verified as human. And I feel like that could be a way where you could just say, but then you have a whole group of like unsupervised data, we'll call it, that is like unclassified, whether you don't know if it's human or you don't know if it's a computer, but like verified human data is going to be an important idea.
I think it's going to be a resource. It's going to be like gold, like that's going to be the valuable resource and commodity, real human experience.
A resource for who? Historians?
I think for the AI itself,
Maybe.
to be able to have, because the objective is to have the clearest answer, the clearest definition, and to have the clearest definition, you need more data, and you need the most relevant and up-to-date data, and that ensures humanity's survival, because we always need current data on the humans.
Well, let me mention this, that like there's something called AlphaZero.
What's
Have
that?
you heard of it?
No.
It's the program. It's like there's AlphaGo, Alpha One, something like that. Like anyway, this DeepMind created like an AI to beat the game of Go, and they had the first AI analyze a bunch of human games. They had like reams and reams of human games, maybe thousands, and it learned off of all these games, and then it became like the best Go player, right, from these games. But the way it became a better Go player was to actually just like start with no data and just generate all the games itself.
And generate the game
Just
itself.
generate the games and play against itself. And then just doing that, it ended up becoming better than the previous version was trained on human data.
Oh.
So it's like, what game are we playing? Like, is it really necessarily important to have? Is it important to AI that the data be human? Maybe they'll become like, oh, this is AI. This is better data. Maybe it'll make more sense to the AI because it's been generated by a computer.
As long as it has the rules and the framework, like of the game, because for the game of Go,
As long as there's a game, the context of a game,
right,
which is a whole other bag of worms. Yeah, I can't, whatever. It's like, when are we not in the context of a game? Well, anything informationally based. Is there any informationally based game or system that humans can beat AI in? I would say no. At this point, there's none. But there are like, of course, tennis, soccer. Can't beat robots in that yet. But
Not
robots
yet.
can't beat us in that yet.
not yet, right? But that's what we're talking about, this advancement, this wave. Because as the AI grows and as our robotics grows and as they're merged together for a purpose, now they are the best tennis player. Now they are the best baseball player.
The greatest. They'll be like the greatest ever.
Right? They'll take those too. And that's where we're at. That's where we are still before the singularity. We are still in this important, vital time where you as a human still matter.
Yeah.
Because it seems like that time is becoming shorter and shorter as the advancements of AI continue.
I think we as humans will always matter because we will always want to cling to life.
Your mom will always love you.
You're going to say something bad. That would have been perfect. I was about to make a good point. But we as humans will always matter. It's just our data. Like, won't be that meaningful. Like, it won't be as meaningful because we've already achieved our intellectual peak. Because our intellectual peak is creating something that exceeds our intellectual peak. We've done that. I mean, okay.
I think
We
you've surpassed my intellectual peak, and I don't understand the point. But I know some of you out there do. And please write in and let us know what you understand.
There's like Jürgen Schmidhuber, like a brilliant computer scientist. He's like, I want to discover the secrets of the universe. And to do that, he's like, oh yeah, I was really intrigued with physics as a kid. And I was like, oh really? I wanted to discover the theory of everything. And for that, he became an AI. He was just like, I'm going to create a super intelligence. And then I'm going to ask the super intelligence what the answer is to the theory of everything. So he just like we were talking about before, created something, an intelligence that exceeded his own. And then just was like, oh yeah, tell me this. Like Sam Altman. It's like, tell me how to make money with OpenAI. Just create something more intelligent, which is like, yeah. Then your experience still matters. I think we still matter. It's just that, like, yeah, we have to grapple with the existence of an intelligence that is greater than our own. That'll be interesting. Next time. On Ben and writing the AI. Oh.
Ben and Ben, Tinka and Ayla. I was just thinking for a second, it'd be fun when the AI is editing things off and it just like isolates Ayla's voice back there. And then in the future, when they have like baby translating technology, then they'll just add in, like, they'll be able to have that recording of her as well.
Is that what we're doing when we have kids? Is like creating an intelligence that exceeds our own?
Yeah, I think
That's
so.
our goal, at least.
That's like the AI baby coming through the birth canal.
Yeah.
You know, like creating that life form yourself with another that's beyond both of you.
Except it's like infinitely copyable, scalable, and can be
Modified
programmed in whatever way you want. Unlike a kid.
You know, just in different ways. Every day you have an opportunity to impress upon them more love or more fear, you know, more connection or more disconnection. You know, so every day you do have the opportunity to program your children.
Would that be an app that you would be interested in?
To program my child. Watch Archangel, Black Mirror, Netflix.
To program your child. I guess, okay, think about this app. You have a robot. Is that what this is about? Like, you have a robot that raises your kids, and then you program the robot to do whatever. And then the robot is the parent?
I mean, I think a robot could probably parent my child maybe better than myself. Like, I know that I have my failings, right? And I don't want to expose my children to my failings. I would love if I could just experience all the good parts with them, and somehow the parts that trigger me and that like trigger my lessons and the pieces that I'm working on, you know, I can work through in a different way so that I didn't have to pass on my trauma and those lessons and those pieces to my children.
Yeah.
Like, and that's, I think, where AI has a place, where AI can make life better. I don't know how in that way. Like, we're still even conceiving that reality in front of us of how it could possibly have a place in our life, making, you know, those situations better.
Well, yeah, it's just going to take anything that's in our awareness. Then it's important to us. We're going to ask it about. So it's going to know what's most important to us. Try to solve it. Yeah. But yeah, I think like anyone's going to enjoy this podcast if they just enjoy noises of children in the background. And people who enjoy like AI.
It's an incredible subject that will forever be ringing in our humanity. Here, moving on forward, like this is where we're at. And if you're not privy to these AI waves, then you're just another person with a dull stick. And guess what? We have pointy sticks, so watch out.
Well said. You know, I think once we do enough podcasts, we can like copy those podcasts and say like, here, AI, come up with a new Ben and Ben podcast. And then they'll talk about the same stuff we did. That'll be pretty meta.
Right? I mean, we're just creating awesome input data for our future AIs to create our future Ben and Ben Riding the AI Wave podcast.
You hit upon the goal of what we're doing here.
There it is.
I mean, so this will be like an income stream for us and an entertainment stream that some people, actually nobody will watch, but
No,
Who's
man.
black?
I mean, they're two Bens. This is well worth watching. Come on. Come on. There's a beautiful sunset out. Why don't we wrap up this Ben and Ben riding the AI wave and go catch some of those Maui waves here on the North Shore
It's checking out.
with Ben
And Ben?
riding the AI wave. Thank you so much and mahalo, Nui Loa.